Alright, good day everyone. Steve here. So this video is the part 2 to the previous video which I showed in terms of the setting up of CentOS and just doing basic stuff. The version of Cent, as I said, was the 6.3, the final version, 32-bit, and it's running on currently it's running on a VM. Supplying it with 1.5 gigs of RAM. Hard drive space at present is dynamically allocated with a maximum capacity of 8 gigs. Currently the system is holding hard drive space of 1.2 free space, so the drive is like about 4 gigs. This say it's about like 3 or 4 gigs. So basically Cent, I know in the other video I didn't really do much in terms of applications and other stuff. I just opened like library and show all the different things like the Office, the presentation, like the Excel format, and how you can save it in a Word document format and so forth. So with this here now, I just want to run through the quick stuff in here. In here you have GUIs for certain things. You will get GUIs for these things here, but in order to make changes to these things you must have access. You must have your root password. If you don't have that password, you cannot make changes to any of these things, because these things are critical to the system. Add services, the firewall, adding packages, software, the kernel crash dump. In the earlier installation we had a pop-up box telling us about the auto kernel dump. Basically that is what they're speaking about here. Increase the size. I mean, when you look at software update, printing, user groups, these things are critical. That's why they fall under administration. You have other stuff now, basic stuff like mouse, keyboard, file management, Bluetooth, appearance, you know, the basic stuff you may see in a Windows operating system. They come across the applications. You have this utilities, file browser, terminal, which is critical to what I'll be showing you. I'll be using that in a while. Graphics, accessories, basic stuff, calculator. You know, you get a nice full drift. You could do your stuff. You get 50, right? You get this stuff here. You get the drift. So the first thing we want to do is actually how the system, when your system starts, your system will start. You will see a red dot here, or the red X, meaning that you have no network, you have no connection to a network. It will actually be, I will put it back in the default settings how it was. Your system, when you set it up, it will be in this format. You will see, have to load back up just now. Oh boy, right, it came back up. So you know, if you want to connect to the internet, you come here, you click system ETH0, and it will automatically pull an IP address to your system because of the DHCP of the host. Now if your host set as a static IP address, you may get some problems. I'm not too sure, but it may happen because in a sense is that it is not in the DHCP mode. But not to stray, we actually have the system we are connected here. If you do the connection info, you'll actually see that you are running on a class A private IP address. 10. You do all these other stuff here. You have the default root, and then bam, you have this here, the primary DNS. This is my router. I have 2 routers before I reach this computer. So basically this is the last router. This is actually the default gateway to the outside world, and the ISP then provided me with a class B public IP address. So as it can see here, we have the stuff set up here. If you want to go in depth to your network configurations, you right click on this, you go to, and then you left click edit connections. You see here, you click edit, and then you will see all the different things. You have connect automatically, wireless, you have security certificates, you have IP version 4, IP version 6, but we are not working at IP4 right now. IP6, we are working at IP4. As you can see, we are currently on DHCP. If it is, you go manual, you type in your address here. When you click apply, sorry, you have to click add, put in your address, and your subnet mask will be slash. If you put /8, meaning that is like a class A IP address, I'll use 24 to represent class C. In terms of range, you do the gateway. I'm just demonstrating basic stuff. When you're finished, you click apply. Now the thing about it is that if you don't know your root password, you cannot make that change. So you will reach this far doing all that stuff there, and if you type the wrong password, you're gonna get an error. You're gonna tell you authentication failed, and you will not be able to access and make changes. So it will just go back to its default settings. Now what I'm gonna do here now, I'm gonna change this settings to run as my host IP address. I want to ping my host IP address. Could I ping my host IP address? Let us see. Let me first see what is my IP address of my host. The IP address of my current host is 0.8. So let's try and see if we could ping that. Before we ping, let us check to see what is our IP address. We use ifconfig, and our IP address is 10.0.2.50. So let us try and ping it. Ping 192.168.0.8. We are actually pinging it. Now in your mind, you may be wondering, okay, so you're looking at two different subnets, but in terms of networking, well, before I proceed, just Control C to cancel that continuous pinging. You may say, but okay, it's two different subnet range, whatever the case may be. Because of the setting that is enabled here, VMware is set up in such a way that we can ping host to VM and backwards. But I'll come back to this settings here in a while. I'm going to try to ping my host, my VM machine. The IP address is 10.0.2. Let me see, .15. This is the IP address here. Broadcast subnet mask. What was it again? 15. Let me see if I could ping. Now you already see what is happening here. We're already getting some static. We can't reach. Request timed out. Now it's not saying that the host is unreachable. It knows the host is there, but we're gonna timeout. I'm gonna check my firewall to make sure that it's up and running. Firewall is off. What I'm gonna do now is something that will help users in the future when you have to set up and you want to test things locally. Pay attention. What you do to this here now, we are currently as we are here now. You go to your devices, network, go to settings. This here now, you have it as network address table. You are changing this to bridge adapter. You click OK. When you go back to your VM, you will see the red X come back up. Give it a while. It will go down and it will come back up. Give it a while. No, I'm not saying give it a day, but give it like a minute or 2 minutes. If it doesn't come back up, what you do, you just click here and you click system ET80. It will load. Right. What we want to do now is to see what IP address we have gotten. So as you can see now, we have gotten an IP address within the range of the host machine. So the host machine pushes DHCP. So both hosts and the VM machine falls under the same subnet. So let me try to ping it now and see what happens. So as you can see, we are pinging each other because we have fallen into the same subnet. Before we were only going between from VM to host, but cannot go from host to VM. So it's critical to know that that is a major problem that people face when they set up network and stuff. Next thing I'm going to go into quick, I'm not going to stay long. I'm just going to open my Firefox. Yeah, Firefox, basically it will load. Give it time. Oh, sorry. Yeah, these are just updates, system updates. So as you can see, Firefox has loaded. You can type in your stuff. If you want to go to Yahoo, remember you will be getting access to your internet just like a normal PC. You will gain rights, you will gain connection to all these other things. It may not run as fast as it should, but you will gain access to the outside world virtually. So you can use this to test if you want to do your viruses and stuff. But I recommend, if you are testing viruses, do not have any network connections. If you are running a VM, you can set up things in such a way that two VMs could speak to each other and it will not connect to your host machine. If you want to test a virus to see what it can do, you have to be very very careful. So basically, as you can see here, we have Yahoo. We are actually getting onto the internet here. It will run slow because I'm running a VM that doesn't have much specs and so forth. And the thing with this operating system, it provides audio and other stuff. YouTube by default. You don't have to do those plugins and those things as you do with Windows. Videos will load. It will load. It will run very slow. In the meantime, you can look at all these different things here. So the default root, DNS, domain name server. Alright, still taking a while to load. But basically, what I'm saying is that, oh, it came up here. It no longer supports this browser. Okay. But another video will show and demonstrate all the installation and setup and all this other stuff. But basically, this one is just to show like network configurations, basic setting up and stuff, getting onto the internet and so forth. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it kind of enlighten you and give you that knowledge of what CentOS based operating system could do. More will be provided in other videos. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoy.